It's interesting that Melvin shut down before the finish line, apparently, and the machine almost took a nosedive into the mud about 36 inches deep down there. Watch the front end. Yeah, she goes in big. But 2.083 seconds, believe it or not, by 7 thousandths of a second, he gets in the field.
Our next competitor will be Jody Kelly with Stumpy's Tea. Whoa! It's getting slippery down there at that other end there, Bret.
It's true. You can see Kelly actually shutting the throttle off well before the finish line. Kelly, on the other hand, runs 2.062 seconds, just a couple of thousandths of a second quicker than Melvin Brown, and that means he's now in the field. It takes a 2.069 just to qualify.
Well, Tom Marsh will be next to try it with the Intruder.
Traveling companion of Chad Miller in the Instant T from the state of Ohio with his Jeep.
Oh, and that's a great run.
I'll tell you, there were so many good aspects of that run. Beautiful launch, carrying the wheels with this nitrous-injected Chevy car. 2.40 seconds won't get him in, but I'll tell you what, there's nothing wrong with the starting line. We've heard a lot of drivers, Jerry, say that they were worried about getting an early number so that they could get on the starting line when it's good. Here's a guy that could probably win no matter what the starting line is like. Two-time world champ Tom Martin. What's it like with 1,600 horsepower with nitrous oxide?
It really gives you about 500 horsepower. It really snaps you back in the seat. It's really, really awesome.
The picture says it all, Bret.
I'll tell you, that was a perfect Tom Martin run. There's the perfect Tom Martin salute to the crowd when he knows it's good. Carrying the wheels off the starting line. Look at the elapsed time. 1.98 seconds. He qualifies for the quick four.
Rolling to the starting line now is the Blue Max with Melvin Brown. Good run, but he goes over the DQ line.
Tell you what, it didn't look like Melvin Brown had any brakes to speak of. The run, a lot of tire spin off the starting line, putting sideways to begin with, 2.40 seconds. But right now, Melvin is pumping this brake, and it just doesn't seem to want to do anything. He's cranking the wheel to stay away from the wall. He gets disqualified.
All right, still plumb crazy. Drag Baker. Good run for this homemade machine, and he gets it stopped.
Didn't seem to be too concerned about the stopping. The starting line launched pretty good, but 2.23 seconds for the amassed Pennsylvania racer with a nitrous oxide-injected Chevy-powered machine will not get him in. Believe it or not, it takes a 2.062 second run to get in this field. Here's the Red Rebel, Charlie Stoltzfus from Pennsylvania with a Ford engine in this 32 coupe.
Good run, but a little bit slow.
Yeah, again, that was a little down on power. I don't think he tagged that finish line pole as a disqualification. He'll have time. He was all over the place, 2.67 seconds, and he did hit the pole. We couldn't see it from our angle on the first time. That was a disqualification. That's about the fifth one we've had, Jerry.
Oh, and look at this one, the Michigan Off-Road, Mark Waitrose.
How about a supercharged fuel-injected Ford motor in a Ford Thunderbird funny car?
And it's 3. And he gets a shutdown. Mark Waitrose.
I'll tell you what, that was a rough ride down here to the finish line. Interestingly, the starting line looks good. We're starting to get ruts down at the finish line. 2.13 seconds, a great run for Waitrose's Ford-powered Thunderbird, but it won't be good enough to get him in. Can you believe that? A 2:13 will not qualify right now.
Bad reaction. Sam Poole in the driving. And just about ready. Goggles down. Oh, and Sam Poole gets sucked down into the mud.
But the problem was pretty easy to spot, Jerry. You watch, when we go to the replay, you'll see immediately why that thing sank like the Titanic. Watch the front tires. No power whatsoever to the front end. That's what kind of mud these guys are skimming over at 70 miles an hour. That's how deep that mud is. That's what happens when you don't have 1,600 horsepower in four-wheel drive, and that's what you look like when you've got to get the hook to get out of a pit.
It's sometimes even difficult to do that.
Bad reaction? Yeah, we'd say so at this point. Tough break for the newcomer with the Chevy-powered Jeep, but like I said, people don't realize that that's 48 inches of mud out there. When these 1 second and 2 second machines go skimming over to 30 miles an hour, you think it's nothing. That's the look of despair. Here is the quickest and fastest Ford-powered entry on the tour right now, and currently ranked number 2 in the World Championship point stage. Preston Ward from Pennsylvania, driving for his son Matt, who owns the Mystic Warrior. Nitrous oxide injected, fuel injected Ford in a 30 Ford Coupe.
Watch out. Unbelievable!
Hard on the brakes. He touches the banner. I can't believe it, by not more than 2 or 3 inches. Preston Ward's incredible wheel sander is out. Look at this torque launch. Unbelievable. 2.25 seconds. Wouldn't have gotten him qualified anyway. Look at this man trying to stop this thing by 4 inches, no more. He is out of bounds and disqualified.
All right, the Psychotic Speed with Mike Cena. A great run for Mike, and he gets it shut down.
You were definitely right, Jerry. The biggest problem on this track right now is the 80 feet of shutdown area. It's like ice down there. Watch how early Cena locks up the brakes, and watch how far it slides anyway. And when you've got all 4 wheels locked up, you're helpless in there. You're just praying that it doesn't go out of bounds. From Detroit, Tony Fierro, the Let's Boogie Ford Ranger. This is one of the quickest and fastest full-body trucks in the sport. It's gone under 2 seconds flat.
Notice how he's got it lengthened out.
Extended wheelbase, this thing has power.
Rolls it into the light. Good run.
And again, you see all arms and elbows in that cockpit trying to get the thing stopped and steer it. An excellent run for Fierro. 2.18 seconds. That's an incredible run for a 3,000-pound vehicle. But like I said, at this unbelievably quick program, it's not good enough to get in. One of the original mud races here.
Dave Ray with the Midnight Magic.
On our last event at Worcester, Massachusetts, we saw the debut of this nitrous oxide injected, fuel injected, Ford-powered fiberglass Ranger. They don't have the bugs worked out of it yet. We'll have to wait and see if the Midnight Magic team can qualify.
You know, Bret, these fellas are slamming on the brakes at the finish line and then following us right at the finish line, giving us that bump.
Got to be on David Ray's mind. An incredible run, hard on the brakes. He just touches it. That's the second time we see that happen. And Ray, one of the very first world champions in mud racing, is disqualified on a 2.49 second run. Like I said, that would not have been good enough to qualify. When you're disqualified, you drop to dead last, and you don't get paid. Simple as that. He's out of here.
80 feet to start, 80 feet to stop. This is the agitator, Lee Holt.
Jerry, that was a situation of a driver getting out of the throttle because he was so concerned. You could see the front end drop in just before the poles. 2.47 seconds wouldn't have helped Lee Holtz anyway. But at this point, the most nervous man in Baltimore has got to be Jody Kelly, who's hanging onto that bump spot.
This is Steve Balthasar. All blown out.
Man, he slid a long way down there like it's on ice. The winner earlier this year in Tampa, Florida, with his supercharged Ford-powered Ranger, just misses by 0.06 of a second, 2.12 seconds. He will not be in the quick 4. So final qualifying shows defending champ Butch Croft in the Mudmaster #1 at a track record 1.90 second pass. How about a field anchored by the Stumpy P of Jody Kelly at 2:06, and Jerry, is going to get wilder.
It sure will. Coming up is going to be the monster truck battling it out in first round elimination. Stay with us.